Welcome back to Shelly's Nest. Today, we're celebrating.
We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of living on the road full time. We started off our journey in South Carolina. When we sold our house, from there, we decided to go west.
Go west, young man.
So since we sold our house, we had some things that we needed to take to some family members.
Mm-hmm.
And so first along that route was our daughter.
Yes, she was the first visitor.
Volunteer.
Yes.
To take some items from our house, her things, but also some things from our family.
We visited our daughter for probably a couple weeks. It was right around her birthday, Mother's Day, and her wife's birthday. So we did a lot of celebrating in the time that we were there. We knew we were going to see my sister early June, but we had 2 or 3 weeks of time between them.
So we decided we'd head east and check out some landmarks. We heard from some of our other favorite YouTubers on Route 66. Instead of making any reservations or plans, we were just going to wing it.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple hours before we needed to worry about gas or need to worry about staying someplace, we would pull up the phones and figure it out then. So finding campsites or places to stay, we've been doing that before, but we usually had reservations.
And now we wanted to be a little more spontaneous, so we're still using apps like RV Parky. Google is also a good way to find campsites. There are some other apps that we might use, but we really heavily rely on RV Parky. Not only does it show us private campgrounds, which are nice because those are usually all full hookups, but we really enjoy the state parks as well. Most of those don't have full hookups, which just means they have a dump station on the way out, but you do usually have water and electric. We enjoy staying at the state parks because they're a little more wooded and just, a little more secluded, I guess. Our travel style for our first year is probably going to change for our travel style for our second year, and then that may again change for our third year and so forth. It just depends on what we have going on during the year and where we want to go and that sort of thing. This past year our daughter got married and there were a couple of showers that were in Texas and in South Carolina. So we had some destinations that were already planned for us, which we loved. Don't get us wrong on that. We really enjoy knowing where we're going to go, knowing that we're going to spend time with family. But the other part we really enjoy is the spontaneity of just going wherever the wind blows us and just visiting whatever we want along the way. We did that coming back from Schoolapalooza heading toward Texas. We had, 3 or 4 days where we just did some boondocking, and we were just like, well, we're going to backtrack, but who cares? Let's go here. Let's go there. And that was a lot of fun because it was just wherever we felt like going. And I don't know, it might be hard to explain, but I just really enjoy that feeling. Something that we're thinking of doing differently in this second year of full-time RV life is staying places longer, staying maybe 2 weeks or more, so that we can enjoy the area even more and see what that has to offer. When the gas prices were high, we figured that would be a good way to save on gas is by staying at places a little bit longer.
One of the things we learned this past year is that weather can definitely dictate our direction. When we don't have someplace we have to be, it's just a landmark. Instead of going through a snow blizzard in Amarillo and Flagstaff, we'll go south and go through Roswell and check out the 50-mile-an-hour gusty winds instead.
Bought the RV in August of 2019, and we traveled off and on throughout the years with it. Now, once we started this full-time life, we did a few upgrades. And one that I am very excited about is we got rid of our oven. Now, the oven worked great, so I had no complaints with it. It worked so much better than the oven that we had in our Class C from 2000. Taking the oven out was not a big deal for us because we have the convection microwave. So early on, DeWitt suggested I do all of my baking and cooking in the convection oven to see if I liked it, and I did. So that worked really well. The reason I really like having the oven removed is it gave me 2 large drawers in the place of the oven. So now I can actually put my pots and pans in the kitchen instead of in the bedroom or under the bed. So that was my exciting upgrade.
Yeah. And then at the same time, we replaced the doghouse. So in our Class A, the engine comes back, and there was the default Ford plastic cup holder that felt like it was 4 feet away, so I couldn't put drinks there and drive down the road. It was just not functional. So we got a replacement made with solid cup holders and nice countertop surface to put protein bars or snacks on, and even a little extension table that slides out. So when we had the chairs turned around towards the middle, you could use it like a little end table or coffee table, put your drinks on when you're socializing.
And I like that the new unit also has a small drawer so we can keep things like sunglasses and pens and mints. I love that we decided to upgrade that. Another big upgrade that we did was not actually in the RV. We traded the car we had to put on a tow dolly for a flat towable car.
David got really good at hooking up the car on the tow dolly, but whenever we parked at a campground, we always had to figure out where are we going to put the tow dolly that's out of the way. Now flat towing, a lot more flexible. So then we decided to pick up some more convenience factors inside to make it more of a home. So we have an air filter, one of the HEPA air filters, which is really nice when we're in Texas.
We got a 1-burner induction cooktop, so now I don't have to take the counter apart to cook something when I only need 1 burner.
We got a dehumidifier to keep the inside a lot more comfortable.
And one of DeWitt's favorite toys is his bug zapper.
Some people put bug zappers outside. Little flying buzzies inside the RV is really annoying. So we set it up in the front area and it zaps. No more no-see-ums flying around in the RV.
After spending some time in Lubbock, we realized how much we needed a water softener system.
Don't have to worry about getting hard water stains off the shower or off the sink.
A lot of people ask, what is our favorite place that we visited so far? And that's really hard to answer.
It is. I think our first favorite place that David and I sort of agree on isn't necessarily the place, but the emotional connection with it. And that was when we began our travels across Nebraska. And that was a time where we had no deadlines, we had no fixed places we had to be, and we could stop and stay as long or as little as we wanted to. That was really freeing and helped reaffirm that this was a lifestyle that we really wanted to continue to grow into.
Yes, I think that is probably one of the favorite things of this lifestyle is it gives us the freedom to do more exploring in different places. Now, I wouldn't say we have any regrets.
No regrets, but definitely some considerations. The first thing that I came into was haircuts, because I get my hair cut about every 4 weeks because it grows so quickly. And if you watch the videos in sequence, you might notice I've gone longer than 4 weeks without a haircut. I really thought that using someplace like Great Clips would be the solution, because they capture the previous cutter's notes and share it with the next person. That might be there. Sometimes they read it, sometimes they can't find it.
And for me as well, I've been going to the same person in South Carolina for over 10 years. So obviously I really like her. And since leaving, I've only had 2 other people do my hair.
But it's that finding new people that's challenging, and it extends also to maintenance. So at home, we had our family mechanics and handymen and those type of things that we could call on the road, but we're looking more towards Google reviews and those type of things to find somebody to help us out. You're hoping that they're not going to take advantage of you when they realize you're somebody that's going to be passing through, and they're like, oh, they're leaving, so I can overcharge them. And so while that's a concern, everybody we've met has been really helpful and friendly. Most recently, top of mind as considerations would be doing our annual checkups.
And now, with the different medical apps out there like Teladoc and through our insurance company as well, we can have phone visits with our physicians. And that really helps. Until you need something like blood work or, a dentist where they can't clean your teeth through the telephone. You got to go and actually see them. But for the most part, for the quick interim times, those do help.
Everything works out. It's just different. And that's probably the biggest thing, is that this lifestyle is different than when we lived at home. And we'd already had 10, 20 years to establish our routines and our doctors and hairstylists, barbers.
One of our favorite things of traveling is meeting new people. I don't know that DeWitt is necessarily an introvert, but he definitely, when he's done with the day, he's done and he's ready to just chill and have that time. We walk the campgrounds very frequently, not just for exercise, but to meet other people, and that has been great. We have met so many different people, and they give us so much different insight on like where they're from or the way they travel, and that's just it's very interesting to us.
Yeah, and definitely gives us great insight into other places to visit we may not have considered.
Our first year's costs are actually going to be about 13 months instead of 12, because the first month that we lived in our RV, we were actually in a campground near our house because we were still getting the house ready to sell and then having the viewings with the realtor, but we were still living in our RV. During this first year, we had 371 nights we paid for and 31 nights that were free. The free nights included boondocking and mooch docking, driveway surfing, whatever you might call it. So we thank you, friends and family, that let us stay with you. We appreciate that. The total amount of campground fees came to $11,886. That makes the average nightly cost $29.57. Now we had to get from campground to campground, so that took gas. We traveled 15,829 miles. I can't believe that, can you?
Yeah. And Debbie drove at least 60 miles of those.
To drive those 15,800 miles, we needed 2,455 gallons of gas. So that made our total RV fuel costs at $8,290.
And depending on when you look at this, you may not realize, but that time frame included when the gas prices got over $4 a gallon. Our average cost per mile was 52 cents a mile.
And we towed our vehicle the entire time. So we towed a vehicle with a tow dolly for probably about half that time, and then the other half we switched out our vehicle and tow dolly for a flat towable car. The average miles per gallon for the entire year was 6.45. With the 15,000 miles we drove, we visited 17 different states. Some of those states we visited multiple times.
During our travels, we enjoy being in comfort. That means keeping the RV air conditioned while we're driving down the road, and that means running the generator. During this past year, we ended up using the generator for over 226 hours. That includes the time spent boondocking, like at Schoolypalooza or Fritz Fortress in Texas. Some generators can run off of diesel or propane. Ours runs off the same gas tank as our coach does. So the number of gallons that we filled up not only includes driving the RV down the road, but includes running the generator.
We figured out at one point that we use somewhere in the ballpark of half a gallon for every hour that we use on the generator. Now, another type of fuel that we need is propane.
In our case, we use propane to supplement heating the hot water, because normally it uses electricity for that, and also for cooking. For this past year, we ended up paying just over $172 for propane. One of the things that interested me was the amount of weight we were carrying around. So our RV has a maximum carrying capacity, or a gross weight, and so for just the RV itself, its maximum weight is 24,000 pounds. When we weighed up at the very beginning of our travels, we were at 23,200 pounds. And about 6 months in, we had it weighed again. And that includes after buying a couple things that we felt like we needed, like a water softener, a dehumidifier, a couple other things that added some weight. But we also tried to purge. And so in the end, we went up about 160 pounds. So not too bad after 6 months. We didn't accumulate too much. Our weight as of 6 months into our travel was 23,360. And so that gives us around 700 pounds of flex to be our maximum weight. One of the things to take into account is we're having to tow our car as well. And when we started, we were towing the car on a tow dolly. So that weight together was 4,200 pounds. When we switched to towing the car flat, which is a little bit lighter and didn't have to worry about the tow dolly, and so that ended up being 3,600 pounds. We ended up saving some extra weight there too.
And that weight does include our e-bikes, because we carry the e-bikes in the back of our car. To recap what we spent, campground fees were $11,886. Fuel costs for the RV were $8,290. Oil changes for the RV and the generator were $573, and the propane was $172. That made our annual gross amount that we spent $20,922, just under $21,000. That's good.
Yeah, and for us, we see that's good because we came from having a mortgage and paying electric bills, natural gas bills, and all those type of things. We're saving quite a bit of money before we went full time, so that makes us really happy.
Yes.
Well, our next year budget could be higher or lower. We don't know. We are, still, finding our pace. I think every year it's going to be different based on what's happening and where we are.
Thank you for joining us and celebrating 1 year of full-time RVing with us. We are extremely happy with our first year, and we're very much looking forward to our second year.
Now, this video started off as a way for us to capture and share our adventures with our family, and it's grown into what we are today with the wonderful subscribers that we have with you guys and the great feedback and positive reinforcement we're getting. So thanks so much for participating.
Yes, thank you so much. Until next video.
Bye.
Bye.